Friday, 10 o'clock tune in. It's showtime, the EV Café News.
Oh, and a very warm welcome to you. The news and views with the fully charged up EV Café. 30 minutes of what's happening in sustainable transport with expert analysis from the EV Café crew and shown the love by our news partners Drax Electric Vehicles, your business partner for the EV transition. Now then, today's opinions on a stick come from various locations around the world, and I do mean the world. We have Sam in a shed. How you doing, buddy?
All right, thank you. Yes,
Good.
My man cave.
Excellent. So Sam's got wood. Sarah, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm actually in my house, so the rural Wi-Fi may get me yet.
Get out of it. You've had your upgrade. You're fine.
Made no difference last week.
And how is the quite wonderful Mr. Kirby with his sunburnt bonds? Where are you, mate?
Well, let me tell you. Well, no, let me show you where I am rather than tell you, because then you should all know where I am. I'm on a stick, as you can imagine.
Standard.
I'm just trying to see if I can actually get to a spot where you will be able to see it. Hang on one sec. There we go.
Right, let's move on with the news, shall we?
There it is.
That's beautiful.
Ah.
That is the Acropolis. So there you go. One of the 7 wonders of the world, isn't it? Something
Two
like
old ruins in one shop.
that. Rude.
Really good.
But true. All right, let's grab a cuppa and plug into what's happening in clean transport this week. And coming up, Paul will love this. Battery electric van sales grow by 77.5%. Paul, we're coming to Greece for that with
yes.
you. TfL faces criticism over a patchwork approach to its car club strategy. Sarah, coming to you for that one, if I may. A report highlights the need for EV battery repairs. Sam, plugging into you for that one. And a landmark hydrogen mega project is set to create 24,000 UK jobs. That's a bun fight you want to stay around for, and I'm sure Sam may have a view. But first, my little lovelies, it's the EV Café commercial clap, where we highlight innovation and new things in our industry.
The commercial clap from the EV Café.
Innovation applauded.
Right, we're starting off with just the best innovation there is. It's human innovation. From a young man called Ashton Farrugia, 16 years old, and he's looking for work. And he posted his CV on LinkedIn. He has 7 connections. One of them was Scott Eady, and Paul, yes, now, and me. And he's looking for a job as an electrical engineer. He's 16 years old, and he just thought, do you know what? I'm going to do it. Now, he's got a load of experience. He's got a few GCSEs and so on. I will be able to give you details of all of that. He's looking for an apprenticeship. Electrical apprenticeship in Coventry, Warwickshire, or the Leamington areas. He's got some on-site experience, and he's due to finish school in around 7 weeks. And do you know what? He's in the commercial clap because this young man has got guts. He's got vision. He knows precisely what he wants to do, and he wants to come and join our world. Now then, if you can help this brilliant guy, Ashton Farrugia, do give us a shout. Send me a DM. Go on, Paul.
No, go on.
Send me a DM, send any of the team a DM, get in touch with Scott Eady, because Scott was very kind to send us this story. We've got his CV, we'll post it on to you so that you can give this young man the break that he needs to get into our world. Paul, go for it.
Well, I was going to say, because I wasn't sure where he was, and then I looked, it's right at the top of his CV. It's CV 6, which is Coventry. So Vital EV. So I'm hopeful that Vital EV, Nick loves, they really want to get into the new, the younger people wanting to get on with it. They've got power and EV installation on their business. It's a perfect opportunity for him. So Nick, Alex, if you're listening, sometimes you are, then get in touch with me, because this guy looks great and it'll be good to meet at the very least.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you, Paul, for that. And Scott, just a shout out to Scott Eady. He has signed up to do the Europa EV Rally next month, which is, it's quite close to the wire. However, he doesn't have an electric van, which is a bit of a problem. So if anybody can help Scott Eady with an electric van so he can drive around Europe and showcase what electric vans can do, hit us up. Again, let us know and we will do what we can to help you there, Scott. Now, Volkswagen and Uber have partnered on the autonomous ID Buzz rollout. Volkswagen Group of America have set up this autonomous mobility subsidiary with Uber, and they've announced a strategic partnership to deploy a fleet of thousands of all-electric, fully autonomous ID buses with multiple US markets over the next decade, starting in LA. Testing is expected to begin later this year, and the first commercial launch is expected in Los Angeles in 2026. Not sure how I feel about this, but it's brave. Signing up to that level of investment in the ID Buzz and automation and autonomous vehicles, yeah, that blows my mind. And finally, in the commercial clap, Europcar are celebrating the EV Guide and Knowledge Hub, which has informed more than 20,000 drivers in 2024 about making the switch to EVs. Their Guide and Knowledge Hub attracted 28,000 total visits from 20,300 unique users in 2024. London stands out as the location with the highest concentration of vehicles, travel bus rather, trying to find out about the vehicles, and the most engaged groups are 25 to 34-year-olds, followed by 45 to 54-year-olds and 35 to 44-year-olds. So quite a broad range there. But if you want to get into EVs and you're in that younger age bracket, why don't you pop over to electric.europcar.co.uk/knowledge hub and you can find out more. Or alternatively, just Google Europcar Knowledge Hub. Right, that's the commercial clap. Shall we get on with the news? Yes, I hear you cry. Okay, Paul, stand by.
Standing by.
Wreck. Good man. April demand for new battery electric vans weighing up to 4.25 tonnes grew for the 7th month running, surging by 77.5% to 1,686 units, representing 8.3% of the market, according to the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders. The rise, which is a 4.3 point rise on the same month last year, comes as there are now 40 different electric van models in the UK. So this is good news for the electric van for the first time in what feels like quite a long time. We've been talking it up as best we can, but the figures have been a bit dire. Pickups are also rising. The SMMT said the industry remains fully committed to decarbonisation, but battery electric vehicle uptake during 2025 remains at 8.3%, which is around half the 16% market share mandated. Now, Paul, we were at the CV show, as everybody knows, and heard a lot about energy supply being one of the major restrictive factors around taking on electric commercial vehicles, because putting charging in is problematic. What are the other factors that are preventing businesses from getting into that transition?
Well, I know it sounds like a broken record, but education, bums on seats, people getting an experience of it, because the power problem is in the bigger fleets or the fleets that have predominantly go-home fleets, where the drivers are taking them home and they perhaps live in, terraced housing or flats and so on. But there is a whole market that I think still remains relatively untapped, which is, of course, the SME sector. And the SME sector is going to be a real opportunity. And it's one of the areas that I'm really thinking needs pushing. And so the barrier for me is the manufacturers getting their heads around tapping into a new market, empowering the local dealers and getting them to do it. Now, there are some schemes out there. I've recently applied myself to get a Ford Transit E-Custom demonstrator for 3 days, to test this process, to see what it looks like. So I'm still waiting. I've had the initial call and now I'm going to get another call from a dealer in the very near future to arrange my test drive. And that's what really needs to happen. A targeted approach on small businesses to be able to extend the market beyond the big corporates where it sits at the moment.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And Sam, are you seeing that there's an uplift in truck interest at the moment?
Yeah, well, and commercial vehicles. I mean, I've said it for a long time, but the proliferation of EVs and vans on our network keeps growing at GridServe, which is great. And we're seeing news on the daily now with the HGVs being ordered from various people, hundreds of trucks being ordered. So yeah, it's a huge boom really for the market, and it clearly shows that there's an appetite there. But yeah, it definitely is an energy play still, whether it's a commercial vehicle or a truck. And frankly, it doesn't matter whether it's SME or large fleet. The challenge is still the same. Either you've got a huge amount of energy to get at your commercial location, or you've got an SME market with lots of man and van that take them home that don't have access to off-street parking. So it's an energy-wide problem, which I think bridges all scenarios. It's just that in some respects, it's big power in big depots, and then small power in places where they just want it near where they live. But we'll get there. We'll work it out.
Absolutely. And talking about working it out, Sarah, the customer experience is the vital thing here, and being able to pay for your charge no matter whether you're a consumer, fleet, an SME, sole trader, doesn't matter. Making that process smooth and seamless is the key to this.
Yeah, that came out really strongly in the panel sessions that we hosted at the Decarbonisation Theatre at the CV show last week, that van drivers are being directed to chargers, but when they get there, there's still a data layer missing that means they can access that charger, be that a lockable gate or a barrier that's too low for their vehicle to enter. So really simple problem to solve, but it does need a collective effort to do that. So the SMMT yesterday, with the Transport and Energy editorial board that Alec Peachy hosted with us all, and one of the takeaways from that was that we do need to be wary of percentages when we look at statistics. We should look at them as a whole, because the numbers are still climbing. They are obviously climbing, but they're still lower than where we need them to be. So with 50 plus van vehicle available, we're looking at that consumer focus. What do they want? What will they buy? What will they lease? What will they commit to?
Good stuff. Excellent. Right, shall we do some shout outs? Because I know how much Sam loves this bit. Lovely to see Economy Trucks couldn't sleep this morning. 7:10. Steve Waltz, get a life, my friend. Lovely to have you here. Yeah, ready. He's ready for a sunny day in Wellingborough. Quite right. Daryl Sharp in Shropshire. Sunny Friday morning. He's got his EV Café mug and his EV Café boiled sweets. He's a lucky boy. Suck on that, my friend. Now then, James Hobden from Screenwash King. He's here with his little tablets for your Screenwash. Get them while they're hot. Scott Eady, we've mentioned him already. Good morning, my friend. Clean Tech fan. Happy Friday. Who are you, Clean Tech fan? Are you a troll or are you a real human being? Come and talk to us. Stuart Humphrey, Amazing Gaming Daily. Joined the YouTube today. Great to meet up with Sarah at the Top Women in EV event this week. And Sarah, you are a top woman in EV. Gary Comerford. Hello, geezer. He's looking forward to a nice weekend up north. Not quite sure what that means. May even be racist. No idea. LinkedIn user. He's here. It's Peter Heath. He's got nice teeth. And people actually say this to him. So when he goes out on sales visits, people actually now start to refer to him as Peter Heath. He's got nice teeth. What can I say? Bless you, Peter. Evie Bino, Ron Godfrey. The grey smoke has gone up, hasn't it just? Pope Leo the 14th. Welcome to the world, my friend. Do some good, please, because the world needs good people. Mark Elliott, welcome from the glorious city of Lichfield. The man that is DEV, Dev Chakrabarti. He's in the house. Belinda Guy, speaking German. Guten Morgen. Well, Guten Morgen to you too. Ashley Bannister, old Two Mugs, had a lovely time with him at the CV show. We just chatted and he supplied coffee. Love you, mate. Thank you kindly. Teresa Swift, one of our own. She's here from sunny Kent. Lindsay Hetherington. Now, we had a hug from Drax Electric Vehicles. Lindsay, thank you for your company. Matthew Ling, we shared some words from Suffolk. He's a wonderful man. Now, he's in sunny Norfolk. Ooh. Is there a bit of rivalry there between Norfolk and Suffolk? Fight! Now then, Leon Gomez. Amazing weather. Certainly is. Leo Pickford, good to see you from sunny Derbyshire. Everybody's got the current bun today. Have you got solar panels? This is the question. Suck it in, stick it in some batteries, and then power your free transport. Lulu Hagen. Madame Le Bonbon is in the house. Hello. She's not well. She's got the lurg. It's not COVID, but it feels like it. Oh, bless you. Sending hugs. Have a travel suite. You'll feel much better. Alex Hansford. Good morning. Michael Barton. Lovely to see you. Who else we got in there? Tom of the legendary Middleditch, the man behind the Europe Car Knowledge Hub and the quotes in the article. Hello, mate. Lovely to see you. Speak to you soon. Clean Tech fan we've already spoken to. John, where's your lobster? Dirty boy. I'll get back to you on that one. It is here, but I've had soundproofing put in. It's all a bit lovely. Mark Main, great to see you. Who else we got here? Lots and lots and lots and lots. Lloyd Allen, 8 out of 10. It's good to hear. Now then, how are you people? Let us know in the chat, out of 10, how you're diddling, because this really matters. Don't give us your usual, yeah, I'm fine. Give us a number. Tell us how you're doing. Sam, how are you doing? Out of 10?
Or probably 7.5.
That'll do for me. Sarah?
Yeah, hi, actually. I'm going camping in Wales this weekend, so I'm pretty hyped about that. So I'm going to give it a solid 10.
Wow! And Pablo, in Greece, got the Acropolis to look forward to and a cocktail.
And a
squash,
cocktail,
clearly.
Aperol spritz. I thought I was going to dip sharply because there was a large hornet rolling around my backside. But no, I'm a 9. A good solid 9. Bit hot, but there we go.
Yeah,
Don't
you've always
complain.
been hot, my friend. I love you. Right, okay, let's get on with the news. 10:16 on the 9th of May. The London Assembly Transport Committee has warned that Transport for London's fragmented strategy on car clubs is stifling their growth and undermining progress towards the capital's environmental and transport goals. In a new report titled TfL's Stalling Car Clubs, the committee says the absence of a citywide plan has left boroughs to create their own policies, leading to inconsistent provision and discouraging operators. Several providers have scaled back operations or exited the London market entirely, citing regulatory uncertainty and a lack of strategic support. The report urges TfL to make proactive responses and proposes a three-pronged outcome: a pan-London action plan for car clubs to be developed within the next year, inclusion of car clubs in the upcoming London plan as a core part of the sustainable transport mix, a TfL-led awareness campaign to increase public understanding and uptake of shared mobility services. Now, Sarah, you and I have worked in this area for a while of public policy, and it's easy to call for stuff. It's quite hard sometimes to do it, but what we're used to is seeing centralised authorities giving freedom to local areas to go and deploy as they see fit. Are you one of those people who likes complete control, or do you like to send out that power to the local authorities who are able then to go and do it the way they know best?
I like to measure twice and cut once. There is not a one-size-fits-all for transport policy. And let's not forget the transport hierarchy, of which London is a global leader. So there may be a time when car clubs, particularly EV car clubs, were really, really super important because people were still insisting on driving their non-EVs around the city. But now, with so much improvement to the pedestrianisation and the cycle schemes and the transport and the Elizabeth line, let's just talk about that, I bet people aren't using car clubs within the city as much as possible. Bear in mind, they're short trip things. That's what they're for. And then at the weekend, you go to Europe Car and you hire something for the weekend. So what I think we're seeing is, yet again, a strange data set. If only we correlated this with car ownership versus the need for car clubs, bear in mind the whole point is you don't own a car if you're near a car club, I bet we'll see that people are giving up their cars anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to just... Sam, go.
I was just going to add to what Sass said. I think, having lived in London for 15 years, pan-London action plan for car clubs is the key words that you said there, John, I think, because there are lots of different instances where London is so big. Is it 15, 14, 15, 16 boroughs? I can't remember how many there is now.
Might be more.
It's 30 plus.
Is it
Wow.
30 plus? Yeah, wow. I've been there, been away too long. But it's too disparate. It's too difficult to, I think, to bridge this solution across so many different authorities. It has to be centrally governed somehow in order to make it work. It's the same with, parking restrictions are different when you go across a borough. We used to have problems with that all the time. You cross over one road and the parking restrictions have changed from 20 minutes to 40 minutes loading, for example. It just doesn't help. It just makes life much more difficult. So I think things like this have got to be centrally governed in order to make them work, have any chance of working.
I agree completely because, I think it's Camden, you can park for like 90% discount for electric vehicles, and then in another borough, which can be a road across the street, you're paying 4 times that or 10 times that, and then I think with TfL and their removal of the dispensation towards zero emission vehicles in the congestion zone are really going to cause a problem. And I think we're going to get more diesel vehicles, particularly vans, going into the city. I think we do need a very well thought through, zero emission focused policy and planning across across the whole metropolis of London.
The Acropolis Metropolis. I
The
think
Acropolis.
I think the cocktails are kicking in for.
Well, I did just want to point out that
I've
it
got
is
one
12 o'clock midday here, so I just wanted to point that out because it's it's not 10 o'clock there. I wouldn't start at 10. It's after midday. There we go.
Well done, matey. Right, now then, Steve Warts is 10 out of 10. Toby Hiles, welcome. He was 15 minutes late. We'll pick up with you after the programme. Mark Elliott's a 9. Mark Smith is an 8. Belinda Guy's a 9.5. What can we do to get that extra 0.5? Lindsay Hetherington's an 8. Marvin Samuels is a 9.5. Leo Pickford, be very interested to understand why you're a 7.2, my friend. That's still good. But this is the one I wanted to pick up. Now then, Barbara and Simon, Clean Tech fan. Would have been a 10 if I'd remember who you were. Yeah, I do remember who you are. It's just, my apologies, my brain
He
went
actually
slightly.
talks about you, by the way, so it's not
But-
he would have had a glitch rather than forgetting you altogether, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Now then, this is interesting. Madame Le Bonbon, Lulu O'Hagan, is off to Cannes. 10 out of 10. But right now, about 2. Oh, dearie.
Because she's not feeling very well, remember?
Oh, yes,
She's got-
indeed, yes. See, ADHD is a terrible thing. You move on so quickly, you forget anything that's going on. Right. Okay, 10:21. 2 more stories to go. A new report from Autocraft EV Solutions challenges misconceptions around battery failure and presents the case for repair over conventional replace and recycle. The EV battery testing, repair and remanufacturing firm's report, called Closing the EV Confidence Gap, the Role of Battery Manufacturing, draws on in-warranty repair data and academically verified insights from the Recovus project. It found that localized battery faults require targeted solutions with only 1.1 modules needing to be replaced to restore a pack to optimal performance, about above 90% of the original state of health. In addition, it found a 93% CO2 reduction for each battery repaired. That is repaired rather than replaced. The study also discovered that 92% of the modules in a failed battery are still suitable for automotive reuse. It made 3 recommendations: make battery repair standard industry practice, end premature recycling of healthy battery components, and designing EV batteries for repairability. Now, Sam, this is really interesting stuff because what it shows is that with a little bit of tinkering and putting in tiny repairs rather than massive replacements, should give confidence to consumers, businesses alike, that what they're buying is actually a system rather than just a battery like you have in your phone or you stick in an appliance at home.
Oh, I don't know whether there's correlation to those things, John, to be honest. I think the key thing is that the wider industry understands the robustness of these batteries generally. This is more around remanufacturing and the best way to deal with repairs in batteries, whether that be remanufacturing, recycling or replacing. I mean, the key, I guess, where the logic joins is that it's important that the customer understands there are multiple ways in which vehicles can be looked after and batteries are looked after to ensure the longevity and the state of health. But we've already got abundance of evidence to show how robust batteries are, and they are nothing like the battery in your mobile phone. And that's the message that we need to get out there to make sure people don't correlate those two and assume the same. But yeah, and the more evidence, the more innovation, the more analysis of how we look after batteries, the better. That this is the new, in some respects, it's the new engine, isn't it? In a way, we've got lots of different components in a motor and an engine, and you work out how to fix all the different parts. This is, batteries are more complex than fuel, and so we need to understand how best to manage those batteries to keep them going. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good advancement in understanding of how best to look after the technology, I think.
Absolutely, because what we've said, Paul, often is that knowledge is power, quite literally in this case, and knowing that your battery is something which can be repaired and looked after rather than just ripped out and replaced has to give people some sense that they're buying into a long-term solution rather than just something that will pack up after 3 years, 4 years or 8 years.
I think that's absolutely critical, John. I think people understanding that their battery is going to be no different to maybe an engine of today, which can be tinkered at, repaired and made more efficient over time, although engines tend to decline. But we can kind of work with the battery and improve it, and down to cell level. And that's why the importance of getting people trained up to that IMI level 3 and level 4 to be able to make those amendments and improvements. It will give people confidence that actually it's not all going to fall off a cliff and I'm not going to have to spend 20 grand on a battery, which is, of course, the myth that is proffered at every opportunity, that you're going to have to replace batteries every 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, talking of replacing stuff, Gary Comerford, he's at a 6 at the moment because he's just had to pay for a new tyre for the car, having done 30,000 miles. You must drive like a tortoise, my friend. 30,000 miles is an eternity on a tyre. Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments.
I had mine done at 30,000 front, and then the second set at 40,000 on the back, and that's with a 2.1 ton Tesla. So this whole like tyre degradation EV thing, and I definitely don't drive like a tortoise.
That's fascinating. Listen, Gary, can we send you hugs, my friend, or maybe a few pennies just to help you with your tyre cost? That's a bit, come on, 30,000 miles, mate. That's good going. It's great.
He just didn't want to spend the money. It's not about the miles. He just really didn't want to spend it.
And let's be honest, 30,000 miles in an electric vehicle should be celebrated. Well done, my friend. Now then, final story, 1026. Some of Britain's biggest companies have joined forces for a landmark clean hydrogen mega project. Sam is thrilled, which will inject £6.5 billion of private capital into the economy and create 24,300 jobs across the UK's industrial heartlands. Project High Speed has mobilised an alliance of UK-based firms from FTSE 100s to SMEs, including Centrica, Heidelberg, ITM Power, JCB, Johnson Matthey and National Gas, in direct response to a government's call to make the UK a clean energy superpower, scaling hydrogen production, cutting costs and strengthening the UK's renewable energy leadership. High Speed plans to introduce 1 gigawatt of capacity by 2030 and reduce CO2 emissions by 1 million tonnes a year. Now then, we'll start with Sarah.
Oh no, I was chatting to people in the chat.
Okay, I won't start with Sarah. I'll start with Paul, then I'll come to Sarah, and then finally we'll have the rant from Sam.
Okay.
Paul,
Sorry, listening.
To me, this is great in that it's investment in technology which will decarbonise transport, heating and have other applications. And to me, this has to be good if it's green hydrogen.
I think there's a couple of key details that are missing here. Where is this hydrogen going to be deployed specifically? I think that's going to be a real important element of this whole story. 24,000 jobs is good news. There's no question about that. We need a green, zero-emission economy, and hydrogen will play a part in that. It's just what part? If it's transport-focused, it's possibly a bit misled, right? We probably all agree on that. Certainly from a van and a car perspective, almost certainly from a truck perspective as well. But then once you get into other areas, but it's just like, where is it going to go? Where's the market that they want for it? It's a good thing. It's investment in the local economy. We are doing something which Europe has done already. I guess they're ahead of us in hydrogen production and deployment. We're miles behind. We need to catch up for that reason, but not necessarily to be used in transport, is my humble opinion.
I agree with you entirely, Paul. Very interesting comment from Toby Hiles. The rant from Sam is going to be a new intro section, like the commercial clap. Right, I'm working on that theme tune and graphics right after this broadcast. Now then, Sarah, hydrogen. Do you agree with Paul that transport's not the place for it, but there is a place?
There's definitely a place, and we talked about this yesterday, the transport and energy. So can you stop stirring your Aperol
Sorry,
spritz, please?
sorry.
Oh my God. I'm just jealous, that's all. We talked about this yesterday at Transport and Energy Editorial Board, because of course the big word out there is energy security. We started the news with that, saying that grid connection is one of the reasons we're being so delayed in our targets. But there is a place for it. But back at the CV show again, looking around, transport isn't the one for hydrogen. However, there are loads of decarbonisation projects, local energy grids that are going to make really good use of this. And we've even seen, I think it's on the M6, an EV hub powered by green hydrogen, which we've also featured on the EV Café before. So I'm watching the stats, I'm weighing it up for myself. But so far, energy security might have a part to play.
10:29 and 55 seconds. Sam, your comments, please.
Yeah, these guys know how to talk, don't they? Jesus. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, Paul, don't get bleary-eyed by the 24,000 jobs. I'm sure HS2 did just the same thing, and look how much money that was wasted in for the taxpayers. So it's great that it shows a lot of jobs, but if it's in an area that doesn't create a future for those people, then it's a fool's errand. I think two things are omitting out of that article. One is the green energy, the green hydrogen you mentioned, John. How have they cracked how to make that actually efficient? Because that is a fairly fundamental need, which they haven't, because it's simply not possible, at least at this point in time. And the other guys have mentioned it also omits transport broadly in the report, which is good, right? Because there's one bit that says strategically located hydrogen production hubs will support local ecosystems and inject hydrogen into the gas grid to enable UK-wide industrial decarbonisation.
Yep.
Maybe that might work, but not in transport.
Absolutely. Now then, if you've got 6.5 billion quid kicking around, potentially you could send it to Gary Comerford for tyres. If you have any clean transport PR or news stories you'd like us to cover, please send them to us at hello@evcafe.org. Until next Friday, it's goodbye from me, and it's goodbye from my very, very good friends. Bless you, Paul, Sam, Sarah, for joining us today. This has been an EV Café production. Other sustainability news services are available, but this is just Funner! The EV Café is truly blessed to be partnered with the AA, Webfleet, Europcar, Iveco, Spiri, Schneider, Dynamon, EV Blocks and AW Energy. We're the EV Café, supporting the transition to clean transport, with this news broadcast brought to you in partnership with Drax Electric Vehicles. They know you know. Enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend wherever it takes you. Until next Friday, thanks for joining us. See ya. Bye.
Thank you, John.
Bye.
Mark Smith, ciao. He's so posh.